Hello, Floss Tube. This is not going to go well because my voice is not staying caught up with the video. But since I don't have a different way of recording, this is going to have to do. I don't know why. All of a sudden it's not catching up. The first 4 were good, and now it's just too slow. So we'll try the best we can, and maybe I'll look into using my camera or something next time. I did find a video or a webcam for my computer, but I don't have a microphone, so we'll have to see if I can figure something else out, because I don't like how my mouth does not match my voice. Anyway, alright, this week I'm just going to show some things that are finished and progress on different things. So I have no haul, and I have no fully finished, I guess. But anyway, my mom is out. She doesn't understand me videotaping. It's kind of strange technology for her. She has seen me watching FlossTube, doesn't really get it, but anyway. Okay, a long time ago, a few years ago, I sent around a round robin. And it was, oh dear, hold on. I'm just going to zip and get the book. Hold on. Okay, very old book. It's called Colonial Celebration. And it's all different Christmas ornaments, or just ornaments in general. I'm using them as Christmas ornaments. And I sent that around as a round robin, and most came back. Well, everything I sent out came back, but it didn't all get completed. There was still a few left to do. So I'm just going to quickly show you the stitching that got done, and then what I'm working on with this. This is part of my rotation that I created last, I guess it was a month ago. I created a rotation list finally, and I have 8 items on that, and this is one of the items to complete on that list. But anyway, so we have, this is the partridge in a pear tree. This, I'm not sure what it is as far as, oh, this is just called A Bird Among Flowers. And it was stitched by LB. I can't for the life of me remember who that was at this point. I think her name was Linda, but I'm not sure. And this one is the Williamsburg couple. And that was stitched, again, there's initials there, but I don't know who that is. Oh, Char, okay. My friend in Pennsylvania, a stitching friend. This one is called Candle Glow. And I believe that is from Lisa. Okay, so she put the date on hers. It's 2009 is when this was last worked on. This one is A Bowl of Apples. That was stitched, I believe, by Christine. Another one of my, I think she's actually even in Stitch Mania, but I'm not positive. Okay, and I guess that's all the ones that got done. There was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there was 6 of us in the rotation, in the round robin. I never did complete mine. This is mine, and it, I believe, is Noah's Ark. Yeah, Noah's Ark. So I have to finish that one. And the one I just started working on, just because I wanted to, night before last. It's a horn, but what's it called? This is just called the horn. And it is asking for French knots. It doesn't show me where. It says to look at the picture to find placement, but can you look at that picture of the horn and tell me exactly where to put all those little French knots? I can barely see them in that picture. So anyway, I'm not sure if I will put French knots or whether I will find some nice dark red beads and put a couple beads for, I presume they're supposed to be berries. but we'll see how it goes. And then after that, there's 1, 2, 3 more to do. So that will be, when do I switch out? I think I actually switch my rotation again on Tuesday. So that'll likely end up waiting. I might get the horn done today or tomorrow, but then I won't be switching out till Tuesday. And that will be my next rotation, which at this point I'm not sure which one I'm doing. It just depends which one I grab and says, pick me. So in my last video, to change the topic, Mom and I were having a bit of a contest about the baby Afghan. Unfortunately, my one daughter had a miscarriage, so the contest is no longer because we only need the one Afghan. So it was sad. It happened on the long weekend. She was at our house, which was good because she had her mommy, and I know that's important, but it was still sad. We cried a bit, and it was upsetting. It was a first for us. We've never dealt with that, and so we just were not really sure what we were doing, and if whether, I don't know if other people have had them. And it's a little scary because you're not sure what's happening. But she went back for an ultrasound on the Tuesday after the long weekend, and all was clear. Everything came out, no complications. So she's going to heal a bit, mend a bit mentally, and mend a bit physically, and then they'll probably try again. But I didn't tell you that because she doesn't want anybody to know. Anyway, the blankets, I was still working on mine. I didn't get a whole lot farther than my last video. This was mine with the cabling and the popcorn type stitching. And Mom did get hers finished with a bit of fixing I had to do. She dropped a few stitches and we had to find them and catch them. But I don't think you'll be able to see the whole thing, but it's a really cool pattern. As I said before, I was quite proud of her that she had accomplished that. She had never done yarn overs, so it was quite a challenge for her. Anyway, it is done. She just has to weave in the threads, and then that'll be totally complete. So that's good job. The other daughter that is pregnant is due the middle of September. So we have a little bit of time to finish that, but otherwise that's good. And mine will I've got a little bit longer to work on, which is good because each row takes quite a bit of time with the way that pattern is. So that was that. I did get not a fully finished, but a finished object. That was on my rotation, and it was my patriotic. It was supposed to be the Jeanette Douglas patriotic sampler, but I never did get my my thread pack for that, so I never did start it. So I switched it out for the mini Canadian flag, and this is by Artisy. So I'm not sure if I paid for that pattern or if it was a freebie. Might be a free download. But I thought it turned out pretty good, and we were at Michael's the other day, and I found a nice little frame that was on sale. Unfortunately, and as bad as I am, I still like the sticky mats to put my pictures on because it's the easiest, and Michael's no longer carries them. So I'm going to have to order from my supplier and get a few of those because I don't know where else to buy them. I don't have a stitching store other than my own that's close by, and I don't have them in my store. So anyway, so again, that was my little mini Canadian flag, and it was very nice to have it finished. It's the first finished I have had in a long time. I was home last weekend for the weekend and sitting there watching a movie with my husband. I got a little bored, so I found some knitting needles. Actually, I absconded them from my daughter's room because she had bought some. And I found some dishcloth yarn, and I whipped out a dishcloth. And I quite like that pattern. I've never done that pattern in a dishcloth before. I would like to, I'm not even sure what it's called now. I just found it on the internet and did it. But I would like to create a bunch of different ones, not just the standard ones that you see all the time at markets. I want to create some nice ones with patterns, and I do have several patterns to make dishcloths with patterns. So I'd like to make a bunch. My daughter always has a table with what she sells at her Christmas market and her weekly farmer's market. So I would like to add a few dishcloths and just see if I get orders or if they even sell. The plain ones, you know, it's so oversaturated now in the markets with the plain, regular old ones. So I thought maybe if I spruce it up a bit and have some patterned ones, then maybe they might sell. Anyway, so that is a finish. I still have my tails. I haven't weaved in yet, but that was done in a night and a bit. Well, not even a full night, just while we were sitting there. Okay, and my Australia picture. Unfortunately, I did not take a picture of where it was last time. You can refer back to the video. I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to edit on here, so sorry about that. But this is where I was after my last rotation. That's the ending spot. I still can't really see anything at this point. Whether you can or not, I don't know. It's supposed to be a crocodile in there somewhere where that beige is. That's supposed to be a crocodile. So maybe when it comes around for the next rotation, by the time I show it, I'll have more done. I'm missing several threads, but again, I didn't make a list, and I thought of it after when we went to Michael's, that too bad I didn't have my list. I could have picked up my missing threads, but they are on my order from my distributor, so I will be putting that order in hopefully before the next time it comes around on the rotation. I guess that's, oh no, I'm going to try and insert a picture here. Hold on. That is my daughter's wedding quilt. She's only been married for 2.5 years, and I am finally getting the quilt done. I still have about 3 feet of binding to stitch, and I'm going to finish that up this afternoon. I did want to get some paper that you can put through the printer with pictures on it, and I wanted to put a picture of their wedding, like a wedding picture, and then their names and date, and then use that as a label for the back of the quilt. But I'll have to see. I don't have the paper here with me. It's at the house, and I'd really like to get this to her. So if I don't do that, then I have to wait again because I have to have it printed. And I don't have any ink for my printer, and I don't know how well this printer prints pictures. I don't know where else to take it to have it done that way. So it's a project, but I may give it to her, and then when I'm ready to put the back on the label, then I'll get it back or give it to her and get her to stitch it. I don't know. But anyway, I am so happy that it is almost done. I think it's called Log Cabin Heart. I'm not sure. But I don't know if you could see close up or not, but they're both into horses, her and her husband. He's very much into cowboyish ideas. So some of the fabric in there has horseshoes, some has lassos, some has horses, but it's all the neutrally browns and tans, and a couple of little grayish green, just because I thought that would be nice. As I said, they're both into horses, and it kind of suits their personalities. They have other decor in the house that is ranch-like, and eventually they do want to own cattle and horses. So, well, they do own horses, but the cattle part of it and stuff. So we'll see, but I'll be happy to get it out of my house. I finally got it took it to a lady and had it quilted, and it's back. The binding, as I said, I've got about 3 feet left to stitch, and then it's done. Yay! So then after I get that finished, I will start my niece's baby quilt. and I'd like to get that done. Once I start, it's all cut out. I just have to get sewing it. There was a thing is called mitered corners for those who are not quilters, and instead of just joining fabric like this at a corner, you're actually joining it on a diagonal. But I've not successfully been able to do that because you don't join it before you stitch it on. You have to join it. So you're joining a diagonal onto a straight, and it's a little complicated. So I'm going to try my best. Hopefully my niece won't notice. I'll do a good enough faking job that she won't notice. And then I'll be able to send that off. She's expecting in October, so I want to get that done. And that I can probably quilt on my machine because it's just a baby quilt. It's small enough. And I just plan to stitch in the ditch, which basically it's following the quilting lines, just the straight horizontal and vertical lines. I'm not going to do any loop-de-loops or like fancy quilting. So that's my next quilting project, and I am involved in a row by row. I don't know if any of you are quilters. It's called the Row by Row Experience, and I don't know how long it's been going. I did it last year. I don't know if it was before then or not. And you go around to different quilt stores that are participating, and they have a pattern based on a theme that is determined by the row by row people. And this year the theme was home. So every design that the quilt store comes up with has to have a meaning of home to them. This one here is the local one in my mom's town in Stettler, Alberta. And so I've been collecting them. Mom and I took a day trip the one day, and we went to 5 different quilt stores. It is a contest. You have to find 8 rows or get 8 rows and make them and make them into a quilt and have it finished completely. And then you take it to a local quilt store and you win a bundle of fat quarters, which is, it's not a huge prize, but it's just the idea of, you get your name and your picture put on the website. And it's kind of neat. I participated last year, but I did not get mine done last year. And last year's theme was water. So a lot of them are really, really cute. But if you have a quilt store near you and they are participating, I would love it if you could send me the patterns. They are free. There's no charge for the pattern. There is a charge if you want the kit, but not for the pattern. So again, if any of you, it's rowbyrowexperience.com, and you can find your state or province. And if it's on there and there's a quilt store near you and you would love to send that to me, just message me and I will send you my address. So it's kind of cool, and I love seeing all the different pictures, and I have several coming from other provinces. I have two coming from the States, I think. I have one coming from Belgium, because there is European countries that participate too. So I have one coming from there, and I've had some from other provinces that people have picked up for me. They don't mail out. You have to go to the quilt store. So it is kind of cool. So that's a project I would like to work on. Whether I can even accomplish it, the contest ends in October. Whether I can even accomplish it by then, I don't know. So, and there is only one winner per quilt store. So then the trick is, the later you go, the harder it is to find a quilt store who doesn't have a winner. So it's kind of hard. But so it's been a lot of sewing and quilting weather lately. We have had rain, I want to say every day since mid-June. It has rained, whether it's torrential or whether it was just a shower. We have had many, many tornado funnel cloud sightings. I don't think any have done any serious damage, but we have had quite a few sightings, which is not overly common here, but it's becoming more and more common. But yeah, this year my husband hasn't gotten our hay done because there hasn't been enough dry days to even cut it down. So I don't know if the hay is going to be any good, but he says still standing is better than molding in a roll that you can't get in. So, in a bale, I guess not a roll, a bale. So So hopefully this week it's predicting nice sunny days all week, like this week coming. Right now I'm looking out the window and I'm seeing grayish black clouds building up again to the north. So we just got the sun. It had rain first thing this morning. I actually had to turn the furnace on. I was just freezing. There was several days of rain and cool weather. It just gets into the house and then it's no longer summer. So right now, as of this moment, it feels like summer out there. I've got the windows open now and the sun is shining. People across the street were playing with the hose. It's nice out. But as I said, I can see these clouds out that window just building, and it's like, I'm presuming we're going to have another shower this evening. So hopefully not, but work has been, well, I was snowballed. I work at Walmart. And I'm in the stationery and craft department. And guess what season it is? Back to school. So the front pod, that call it there right at the doors when you go in, is called the front pod. And that is now all back to school. So it came a bit earlier. I wasn't expecting it to come until Monday, but it dropped on Thursday. So Thursday I spent my whole shift getting the shelves ready, getting the price tags out, and getting it prepared, and helping remove the summer stuff that was there. Friday, well, the shipment came Thursday night, so Friday I was only there for half a day. I had to take my mom to the hospital for a test. So for the 4 hours I was there, it was unpacking skids and putting them out into the shelves that I nicely prepared. So I felt bad that I had to leave early and leave my coworkers finishing my department, but it couldn't be helped. So when I go back on Monday, I will check and make sure that's finished up and fix anything that needs fixing at that point. And we'll see how it goes. But this is my first year in that department for this season. So everybody's warning me how scary it is, whether they mean the actual department or whether they mean the cleaning up at the end. I'm not sure. I can't see how it would be any scarier than normal. It's just keeping it clean. I'm thinking they mean more the packing up at the end, because most of it has to be sent back to the vendors, and it's packing up, counting, sorting, all that kind of stuff. So it's busy there, and I'd like to not be so busy, but that's life. It's kind of boring when it's not busy, so it's good that it is. So, and I guess that's not a whole lot else happening. Mom and I went to the city yesterday for her test, so we ended up going to Michael's. I went to Nutter's and found some nice soap and some tea. I was actually looking for little empty bottles. I have essential oils and I want to make my own cleaners and face cleaners and stuff like that. And I'm sure my daughter told me she gets her stuff at Nutter's, but when I was there they hardly had any. They had 3 different containers and none of them were what I was needing. So I'm not sure where else to go to get that kind of stuff. I think she gets some at Costco. I could be wrong, but I know there is a place for soap making in the city. Not the city we were in, but the other city. But it's just too far away. It's over 2.5 hours for me to drive there just to get a few plastic containers. It's a little silly. So I'm hoping there'll be somewhere else in the closer city that I can go next time and get. Or maybe even the health store here in this town will be willing to sell me some of theirs. I don't know. But yeah, so not much else. It's pretty everyday here. Go to work, come home, eat supper, watch a bit of TV, go to bed. So Mom and I have decided we are going to start walking after supper. She planned to yesterday. It was kind of funny. She was going to get the mail, and then she was going to see, if she was going to have a walk. I was so cold, I just put my jammies on and got under my blanket on the couch. So she got out there, and about 5 minutes later, it started to rain. So I see her walking really fast across the street back to the house. I had to laugh. It was just kind of funny. She was ragging on me for not going walking last night, and then she ends up having to come home. So if the weather holds, it's 4 o'clock now, so we'll be having supper in a bit, and if the weather holds, we'll maybe try and get a walk in. The dog likes it. She doesn't like just sitting here all day. She doesn't play outside. Well, it's kind of hard. She's tied up on a leash because Mom doesn't have a fenced yard. At home on the farm, she doesn't get tied up, so she can run, but then she doesn't tend to do it anyway. She's an indoor dog, but she does enjoy going for a walk every now and then, just to sniff out different things. I'll have to pick some raspberries. They are growing. We have a bowl sitting here, but there's a lot more ripe ones back there again. And again, with all the rain, we haven't been able to get out there to see it. I'm anxious to see my garden at home. Last time I was there, my squash and my zucchini bushes just grew phenomenally. And I sent home another squash. My son came to visit today, and I sent home a squash plant that I had picked up for him to plant in my garden when he gets home, and some kale. I felt sorry for them. They were leftovers at Walmart there, and they were just going to get tossed. So for 50 cents, I thought I could buy a couple plants. So I sent them home with him today. Hopefully they'll plant them today or tomorrow and rescue them. And yeah, not a whole lot else. We went and saw Independence Day. Well, I went. I had to go alone. My husband wouldn't come up for it. My mom doesn't enjoy sci-fi movies. So I went alone and watched Independence Day 2, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was very good, and it left you hanging as if there's going to be a number 3. So I hope there is, and I'm looking forward to seeing that when it comes. And I saw previews of the new Star Trek movie, and that's going to be showing at our little local theater here in a couple weeks. So I can't wait to go and see that. Finding Dory comes out next week here at this little theater. I know it's been out for a while, but here they picked other movies instead. So Dory is not this week now, but next week. This week is Life of Pets, Secret Life of Pets. I want to see that, but I don't really want to see it. But Finding Dory, I kind of really want to see. So my mom and I and a friend from work and her daughter and possibly another girl from work, we're going to go all see it and have a girls' night out. Don't happen very often, but so yeah, I think that's it. Not a whole lot else new. We shipped our goats. Well, I didn't. My husband did. When I was home this week on Tuesday, I guess it was Wednesday we did it. Spent most of the day in the barn separating the goats. We have to take the babies away from the moms. Then we had to separate the boys from the girls. And he took a shipment of boys on the Wednesday, and then I had to come back to go to work again. So I missed the Thursday, but on Thursday my husband and the kids separated the girls from the moms and shipped them. So there'll be one more shipment because the babies were a bit staggered this year again, and we have some little ones that were just too small to ship. So they'll go with our culls next time. And then we'll be done for this year. End of September, we'll put the boys back in with the females, and they'll be ready for their next babies again in January, February. Never-ending process, but I won't be there for most of the kidding again this year, so kind of sad because I do like being there for that, catching, making sure that babies survive. And my husband doesn't have a whole lot of patience, and I have more patience with that, so he tends to make them bottle babies right away if they don't start sucking, and I give it, I try a little harder than he does to get the babies to drink. So thankfully we do have a neighbor that she sets up a pen in her shop, and she'll take our babies, our bottle babies. But so I'm not sure if she's agreeing to do it again this year, but we'll have to see what happens. So anyway, I shall let you go. I have rambled enough this time. Oh, I did buy my very first magnets and some E6000 glue. And now I just have to find some really cute toppers. I plan to make a few needle minders. So I have some really cool buttons that I'd like to use. I just have to see if my magnets are small enough to go on those buttons. But so maybe next time when I do a video, I will have some progress on that, whether it worked or not, and whether I can find just the right kind of buttony blingy things. So I guess you'll have to stay tuned for the next video just to see if that happens or not. So in the meantime, take care. and I hope you get a lot of stitching done. I know summer is a hard time to stitch, but hopefully it works out for you. So I'll talk to you next time. Bye!